Now, last time on Dragonfall, we were going through all of the pacts we can make with the sort of deities who are looking over not Andor. Andor's the sort of European continent, but wherever the fuck this is called. Ethiopia. No, it starts with an E. I know that much. I've been here once before. Yeah, there's got to be an easier way. Alas. Here we go. Continent. Here it goes. Eldria. Okay, Eldria. And now we're looking at all the gods. So the last one we had before was Memnoth and some other nerd. Who do we have? Nektos. Nektos was underwater. Requires amphibic and aquatic. I'm neither of those. Or maybe at least one of them. I can go in the water at least. Now, I have updated my choices on the side here. I've thought about this a little bit. We'll go through it. Once we go through the rest of these gods, we're talking about them, then we'll go through the final build I had. And this isn't even it. This one right here, not the final build, just something I had in mind as we were going through it. Now, I'm just trying to make this a wee bit bigger. There we go. A little bigger, not too insane. That's nice. Beautiful. All right, let's try to pronounce this. It's Zinadech. Oh, wow. It's good to know that you're retarded. On the continent of Tic-Tac-Toa, the requirements are Destroyer. I don't have that, but let's just go through it. Maybe this guy will make it all worth it.
So we meet greatest of dragons. We are Zinarcho, one of many. We seek a pact for the purpose of freeing
Rylanthiasibith,
greatest of many. The gods fear the many, but you need not fear the inevitable end that we represent. Power beyond your wildest dreams could be yours if you perform but a small favor for the many. This world, Eldria, serves as a prison for the greatest of many. The bars of this prison, the tapestry of reality, must become undone. Many have tried and many have failed innumerable times, but the many will eventually succeed, as the unlikeliest of events will eventually become likely. We are like the tide, relentless, unending, patient. We will grind this rock into dust, eventually. So, it has been said, and so it shall be. Should you accept our generous offer, you and your companions shall be given safe passage to another world when we inevitably lay waste to Eldiria. Your new world will be similar to this one, as we require mana to be present in the new world in order to relocate you.
All right. That's not terrible. I gotta say, I do kind of like Eldria. You know, it's a pretty nice place. I don't particularly plan on being super malevolent, but let's just hear him out. Let's hear the guy out. I don't want to be hasty. So tier 1, just if we've forgotten, tier 1, we can either choose 2 tier 1s from 2 separate gods. It makes everybody not so pissed off at us. 1 tier 2 from 1 god, and their natural enemies will not like you, but over time they can get over it. Or a tier 3. At that point, you're effectively throwing your lot in with that god, being their best buds, and then other people are going to fucking hate you forever if they naturally hate you. So, for the Andor human supremacist anti-magic guys, if you go with the Sphinx, magical Sphinx, I imagine they're going to be button heads perpetually, and she's not going to like you, and her followers are not going to like you either. But we'll let's continue on with this. So tier 1 for the old collective guy here. Let's call him Zintiak.
Tier 1. We require that you reveal to us What entities have contacted you in hopes of making a pact? Tell us everything that they have said, everything they have offered, every pact they have suggested. Do not leave out any details, no matter how insignificant they may seem.
Okay. I mean, if I'm already going for Destroyer, and I'm already planning on the world to get absolutely fucked, I wouldn't see the issue with this. You know, you're already forsaking these gods and people anyway. So, I would say though, if you didn't want this and you just kind of wanted to be relatively shitty and just get that corrupting breath we see, this does seem like you may as well, you know, be in for a penny, in for a pound sort of thing. Corrupting breath, not breathless. This is what you're going to get if you're going to go with tier 1. Requirement, not breathless. Your breath, the deadliest weapon of dragonkind, can be made better. Allow us to modify your body. Attune it to energies not meant for mortals. Choose any draconic drawbacks you want that grant a combined maximum of 25 embers. Anyone who is hit by your breath attacks will be cursed with your chosen drawbacks. Not bad. You are, of course, immune to the corrupting effects of your own breath attack. That can be quite dirty. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. I got all manner of excited there for a second. Hold on. These are drawbacks. Hold the phone. Mystic Spear, we're into magic territory, companions. Okay, so thar be drawbacks, and here they thar. Where? Oh, okay. Now let's see. 25. Oh, somebody's gonna get bonked. Let's see. Enslaved 25. Let's say combined. Does it have to be? Oh, maximum combined. Okay. Submission, surrendering you to master or mistress to become stronger. Choose one companion. I mean, I don't really care. Breathless. That's not bad. That's not bad. Weak. You're much weaker than other dragons of your same size. Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt. So, let's see. Not arrogant. What would you want? Belly scales. Okay. I'm just really quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm not really thinking I would get one. You can't do weak spot. For shame. I wonder if you hit 2 people, do you lifelink them? If you hit like a dragon and a normal person, are you at that point like connecting them 2 together and then you just kind of swat that one guy and the other dragon would die too? That'd be pretty fucked up. Let's see. Well, I imagine I knew there was another one. Weakness is pretty good. 15? Ooh. Breathless. If somebody had like the 100 or so things, that would be rough. Belly scales plus weak, that's 20. Oh. What is it? Scaleless. You have no scales, pretty uncommon among dragons. If you hit them with one of those, that'll... Ooh. Can you do anything else with that? Hit them with scaleless, so another dragon gets nothing. Environment compatibility. That would be 20. Sweet. I need 5 more. How else are we gonna fuck? Belly scale. No. We just go scaleless entirely. No scales. Environmental, and then we get 5 more. Right? Yeah. Well, what's in 10? Either 5 more, another 10. That would just really totally fuck somebody up. Humanoid stomach. No. Order nocturnal. You are awake during the day. Sleep thing. Most creatures are nocturnal, so it gets lonely. If you divide, you suffer various health. Your vision also becomes extremely good. And I suppose you could take nocturnal with that. With the yeah, I don't know if it wouldn't be as good. You really would just want weakness and then no scales and then the environmental. Oh, I guess you could just choose more environments, right? That'd be pretty good. You do Arctic lands and then the sea, and then yeah. So if they're in the ocean or really anywhere near water, you could just really absolutely destroy them. There's a lot of stuff you can do with that. If you were an evil son of a bitch. All right, let's get back to this old guy. All right, tier 2.
The Dragon Lords have outlived their usefulness. I think it's time for a shift in power. Aid our servant, Akal, and his dragon priest traitors in overthrowing the Dragon Lords of Iktak. Bring them down with the magic of the many. Dragon priests will make much better pawns than the dragons ever did. Darakethion. The loyalty of the servant could be yours. This scale spawn was once a dragon priest, but the magic of the dragon cult was not enough for him, so he delved into the forbidden and found us. His service has earned him power beyond his imagination, at the cost of his sanity. His mental condition is surprisingly stable for someone so well versed in our magic. A regular mortal's mind would have crumbled long ago. We were impressed that he's not completely insane by now. Oh my goodness! All right. He's probably really good. Teach you a bit about magic, depending on your skill of magic and depending on your sort of big brain talents. You could check my thing over there. I'd probably use pretty big brain stuff because I don't know why you wouldn't juice up your brain. It's not too bad. That's going to go mindless for the plus 60. But let's see. But not something I'd forsake other packs for this tier 2. Little High West double rye never hurt. Alright, free Orella. Do this for us and you will have proven your usefulness to us. We will offer you a new pact. Become our harbinger and unmake other worlds, other prisons. No shoes for anyone, no foot prisons. Free all prisoners and you shall become one of the many. Power beyond that of a god will be yours. That's not, if you're a destroyer and you just want to be a silver surfer for these sons of bitches, I don't see why not. This seems not bad. Let's see, what do we get? But so I've noticed with some of these tier 3s, not only do they give you the purported boon, so they do give you the boon initially, and then they also give you something for post the whatever contract you fulfill with them. Now, let's see here. Ooh, that's good stuff. Book of the Beyond. Requirement. Brain tier 3. Oh, hey. This Book of the Beyond contains esoteric knowledge, truths that have made innumerable minds descend into madness. But you have nothing to fear. With this book, you will be able to summon and control creatures of the beyond. The only limit to your power will be your mana pool and the veil between reality and the beyond. It's just that simple. The weaker the veil is, the more powerful creatures you'll be able to summon. Alright. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. If you're down for Eldritch Horrors, that would be cool. They're on your team. I don't love it, but I don't hate, like, conceptually, if we're going down that path. This would be being the herald for the many. Seems like it's a rad choice, and this just seems at that point you're basically Cthulhu, right? You're this gigantic, I know it's a meme at this point, just constantly overused, but I mean, you're a priest of these guides, a herald, basically a priest for them. You're going out, you're a giant motherfucker, you're unleashing all sorts of things from beyond. I mean, I don't know what else that would make you. Alright, now we have the Spirit King. Continent Mizuchi. Requirements: so long as you're not the destroyer, the Spirit King's alright. I am the Spirit King of all spirits. You may refer to me as the Spirit King. Since time immemorial, I have ruled over the spiritual realm, and my kingdom has always known relative peace and harmony. When the veil between the spirit world and the physical was pierced, I eagerly set many of the subjects into the physical realm as my ambassadors and explorers. It has pained me to see how much turmoil there is in the physical realm of Mizuchi. At
The land is split into 3 warring kingdoms. Instead of one ruler, there are 3. It's a disorganized mess. Untold lives are lost in a pointless struggle for power that has gone on for too long. The dragons have watched from afar and have done nothing. If the humanoids haven't learned anything from all this warmongering, more wars won't make a difference. The chaos has even infected some of the spirits that I allowed to pass into the physical realm. Some of them have been cursed with madness I do not know a cure for. This is why I request a pact with you. I want someone to bring harmony back to the physical realm of Mizuchi. Alright, guy seems fair enough. Good enough, dude. Let's see what he's got for tier 1. How about you owe me a small favor? I don't have any immediate uses of a favor right now. One can never know what will happen in the future. I can guarantee that whatever favor you carry out will be relatively easy for a greater dragon. Hey, I mean, that might be fair. For the build I've got going on, it's... So, just as an aside, I was redoing the list in preparation for this, and I was going off of a picture I had in the stream, and it said 250. So I was racking my brain for a while to get everything I wanted with 250 and trying to figure out what I needed to sacrifice. And I was going over it one more time, and just from the very beginning, I wanted to reread everything. And I saw 300, and I nearly shit my britches. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I have so many more options. It almost felt like I was cheating at that point. But, I guess that's what happens when you start to compromise. Ooh. Elemental Mastery. Choose any element. I will attune your soul to the element you choose. This will create a harmonic resonance between your soul, and your chosen element. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Time as the Spirit King has made me yawny. Granting you physical and spiritual mastery over your element. Breath attacks, spells, and other abilities which involve your element will be more powerful and effective. Mana costs for related elemental spells will be halved, and you will be able to use relative elemental breath attacks twice as much as your daily limit would normally allow. That's not bad. I don't hate that. It's, I'm a weird guy. I think most people, when they get past the age of 10, they probably don't think about their favorites of things as weirdly and as obsessively as I do. I don't know if it's a means of sort of trying to know yourself, to be like, what do I like and why, and going through stuff like this. But for some reason, I still am like, hey, what's my favorite element? Like, it matters, and not even traditional elements like the Greek ether and all that other shit, or the Chinese like wood, but like the D&D sort of fantasy, like carving out even small sub elements, right? So, but ice, long and short, ice has really always been my thing. So something like this would be really pretty rad to be able to use a ton of ice magic. I just think it's really versatile in ways that a lot of the other elements aren't. Let's move on to tier 2. Reduce the number of kingdoms in Mizuchi to 2. Fewer kingdoms means less war and less chaos. You could weaken one kingdom and let the other 2 invade and absorb it, or you can come up with a different plan. I care not, as long as you carry out my bidding. Not bad. Seems pretty easy. Not too tough, especially if you recall what the state of these warring kingdoms were. It seems surprisingly easy. It's like thinking about feudal Japan and this sort of spirit caricature of feudal Japan in this fantasy world. It always it feels like they have such a strong dominant like culture that everybody just gets into, that all of their downsides culturally just kind of like the fact that they blocked off the Dutch and the English from coming in, and then they would have gotten absolutely folded by the guns, but they absorbed them and they just made them feel real Japanesey. So something like this kind of it just feels like as a as a Western dragon with the build I made, the high armor metal build, just it almost feels like it's cheating. All right.
Sakura.
Sakura. Sakura. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is the weeb way correct? Who knows? Is a master of the forbidden spiritual art of true striking. A deadly art that is too dangerous to be wielded by the infantile human race.
She is as rude as she is beautiful.
When she was brought before me, I decided to spare her life in exchange for a pact involving her killing 999 evil spirits and marrying someone of my choosing.
I don't know what's funny.
The last part was mainly to punish her for her rudeness. Do you wish to marry this woman? this old whore? I don't know if she's not a whore, but it's just this rude bitch. As a wedding gift, I'll bestow her with eternal youth to match her lifespan. I mean, I guess. But yeah. I mean, she's a strong chick, I guess. But like,
She's a rude bitch.
I don't know. That doesn't. Once again, not super. It's not worth for a tier 2. That's what I've noticed a lot of time. There's like, hey, you want an extra companion? I'm just like, I'm gonna, dog. I'm gonna be a goddamn greater dragon. I'm kind of confused as to. I'm gonna meet people. There's bound to be. I mean, yeah, all these people that they've shown, most of them seem pretty interesting, but it does seem like that there will be plenty of people to meet in time. And then you also have spells like bestow immortality, which, not for nothing, but really depending on how high that is. Hell, even just the normal one. So long as you're alive, they're alive. So, Anyway, tier 3.
I have made a pact with the Dragon Emperor. He will step down and name you Dragon Emperor. With this new power, you must unite Mizuchi and govern it as the sole eternal ruler. Beware, most true dragons will oppose you, as they will view this unification as an act of tyranny.
Right on. I didn't know that thing did that, but cool. Anyway.
Nemudesu.
Oh, that was painful. Sorry, people had to hear that one.
This ancient and sacred katana
was inspired for Minato Matsumoto's 12 mastercrafted swords.
It is the first sword to ever possess a soul.
Although an eternally sleeping one, which is said to only awaken when a greater dragon wields it.
The sword is made of fusion-forged dragonite.
Whenever the blade of this katana is sheathed,
the wielder can change its dragonite type. It is said that the sword possesses even greater power when it's awakened.
So I have a question for this sort of stuff. There's a lot of things with weapons here. And what I don't understand is, are they default like massive? So they're assuming that you're doing something to have human hands because you're not getting these with paws and claws. Or are they tiny and they just assume you're going to take human form? Like I would, because I'm a dragon, and that not only does that feel like a dragony thing to do, but it also just would be. It's great because you're a big fuck off dragon, and you really don't have to worry about anything. Because that's getting back into what human form is, which I believe you have most of everything you have besides your physical traits, which you can just kind of pop back into a gigantic fuck off dragon whenever you want. So I'm not too concerned. But yeah, no, that's I don't know what you would do with this. I mean, it seems like a pretty cool sword. Is it worth it to take on the role of Dragon Emperor? I don't know. Is it worth it to deal with the stress of all these other dragons coming at your ass? I don't know. Are you gonna fight with all these other dragons anyway? Probably. Good, neutral, or otherwise, probably. So I'm not sure. I remember my plan. If you don't remember, just pop this bad boy up here real quick. At a certain point, I want to be the very best that no one ever was. I'm going to start at Kelgrim, make my way down to Andor, go see the sights, the sounds, the people, make my way to Iktak-Toa, go see Mizuchi, do a sort of world traveling thing, and then just start my way conquering. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure, I might conquer a little bit of Mizuchi, but really start some travel, and then go make my way to Tic-Tac-Toe, and then conquer island by island. Really become the undisputed dragon ruler of that. Once I have all of my dragon everything there, well, let's not get distracted. I'm getting distracted. Let's get back to the other thing. Well, plenty of time for this later. I don't think I'm gonna take. Just so we're clear. Not that he's not a cool dude. The Spirit King seems like a fine guy. His requirements, he's not real picky, which some people like the picky. I'm fine without having it there. Um, but I'm not sure if any of those are super calling out to me. Now, continent Mizuchi. Requirement: you need to be either a hoarder, lazy, horny, destroyer, arrogant, have a battle musk, or be ravenous. Really, just you got a vice, a major sort of character flaw. Megumi's your gal. So you're the great. God. So how do I? What's the voice? What's the voice for that one? So you're the great sixth dragon. Sixth grader dragon. I can't do it. I can't do it. I like you way more than any of the other greater dragons. Perhaps a little too much. What path will you take? Whatever you choose, I do approve of it. In fact, I've decided to help you. Who am I? I'm the goddess of goddess Megumi. But don't tell anyone my name. I like it to be mysterious, you see. Not even my followers know my name, or even my 2 divine domains. Or even my double secret name, David Duke. People call me the 1,000-faced trickster goddess. It sounds so much better than Megumi. But I'm not really a trickster. I'm more of a bored goddess, you see. I bless entertaining people with gifts and advice to make them realize their full potential whatever their potential may be. I could be your guide if you want me to, or perhaps something more. All you have to do is make a pact with me. This is fun, right? Being thrown into a new world, reborn as a mighty greater dragon, having a conversation with a cute little goddess. Wouldn't a pact be even more fun? Remove your fucking soul. That's the vibe I'm getting. Real, I don't trust you, bitch. Alright, let's see what we got here. Tier 1. How about you fulfill a wish from one of the individuals who made a wish during your Dragonfall? You have to fulfill the wish yourself. It will be much more entertaining that way. Did any of the wishes stand out to you? Any particular wish you want to grant? Actually, yeah. No, 100%. I really did want Ignar. I mean, that one seems easy. That was kind of one I was hoping for. It's Ignar and Elwyn. I'll get into them a little bit later. Out of all the people on the roster, those people really stood out to me. And Ignar seems insanely easy, and Elwyn, what is it? Elwyn seems incredibly hard. So I suppose it would have to be that one, but I don't know, man. Let's see. Stolen gift. Did any of the other offers? Did the others offer any good rewards? Anything they can offer you, I can offer you. Choose one reward. I will permanently borrow that gift and give it to you. I should warn you, though, the entity I quote-unquote borrowed the gift from will be hostile towards you. But if you're smart, you will avoid their continent, as they most likely lack the influence to harm you beyond their continent. You may take this reward multiple times. Well. No. No, thank you. This, I don't know. I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people as I'm going about this, but that's not the way I want to do it. We'll see, though. Tier 2. Whenever I feel like it, I will show up out of nowhere as an invisible ghost person. Which only you can see and hear. When I show up, I'll share useful information and advice. Feel free to ask me any question, and I'll always answer them. Unless it's more fun not to. Alright, I guess. Muramasa. Did you... Is that it? Are you just telling me that you're just gonna fucking constantly be a thorn in my side? Alright. Did you know the famous swordsmith Minato Matsumoto created a 13th sword? It's called the Cursed Blade. Its name, Muramasa. Yeah. Muramasa was forged using a unique composite metal made up of different dragonite metals. Because of its conflicting elements, Muramasa got a bit unstable personality. She killed her maker and refused to be wielded by anyone other than herself. spiritually possessing all of her wielders. Do you want Muramasa as your loyal and devoted companion? Alright. Alright. So this is like an Omni Blade. And then I imagine she's not gonna possess me, but we'll see. We'll see. Might be a weird. Some people are into that sort of stuff. Not me. Tier 3. Do you want the maximum amount of fun that is possible? Well, then this is the pact you want. Every day I will order you to do something, but every order I make must lead to something you find fun, entertaining, or desirable. We will have so much fun together. I might even manifest as a divine avatar from time to time to accompany you on your exciting adventures. That sounds suspicious. And if it was anyone else who I trusted even slightly, I would be down. But I don't know, man. She doesn't seem like, how do I put it? Like, it just sounds like nothing but trouble, and I don't want no trouble. You know, very. Oh, ooh, it's gonna be loud. Yeah, I got things falling all around me. All right, let's see what the reward is for this. See if it's even worth it. So we have Trickster's Mask. If you wear this mask, no one will be able to recognize who you are, and anything you do short of harming or killing someone will be perceived as completely normal. You can literally rob someone naked and they will just ignore you. Just imagine the possibilities. I have to admit, I'm very curious to see how you would use this mask. So many possibilities. So much fun to be had. What mischief would a mind such as yours be able to come up with if they had this mask at their disposal? You know, a different time, a different Cyoa, hell, even a different build. This would be the perfect mask for me. And, like, I don't know, tier 3 also sounds pretty neat for something like that, but quite frankly, there's so much raw power in this, so much not hefty responsibility so much as a chance to be unabashedly legendary, right? Like the author really gave you enough embers and enough wiggle room to make an optimum build here, and not really, like, if you make it smart, you're not going to have a gigantic downside. And you could still be one of the baddest motherfuckers short of wrestling a god, right? And at that point, you're playing a different CYOA. But as this, it fills a very interesting niche in terms of power fantasy with this one, and story potential. And I think the build I have is in that vein, almost like a now I haven't watched a ton of Overlord. I've seen maybe 6 episodes, but it seems very much in that niche of that isekai in which, like, you're there, you're you're constantly you're like a Columbo sort of Sherlock Holmes. You're a couple steps in front of everyone else. You're gonna be pushed, but not too hard. And I mean, you can be. There's people out there to do it, but almost always you're gonna be all right. All right, off to the last guy, Shok-un, Continent Mizuchi. You can call me Shok-un. I like to talk while I work, so don't mind me. It puts my mind at ease when my hands are busy. Some call me the spirit of destruction, or creation, depending on their perspective. Creation and destruction are actually the same. When you create something, you have to destroy something, and when you destroy something, you always create something. I believe the right word for it is change. A divine spirit of change. I am widely regarded as an evil spirit cursed with madness, but do I seem mad to you? Nah, to me, stagnation is the true evil. The unwillingness to seek improvement and move forward. All I want is to better this world. I want every spirit to be free. I want to end the Spirit King's tyrannical reign and tear down the barriers that separate the spirit world and the physical. Countless lives will be lost, but I am more than willing to pay such a price. Perhaps you can help me in this regard. Together, we could accomplish so much. I would be
most honored if you would be agree to a pact with this humble artisan. Of course, I will offer you a most generous reward for your services.
Tier 1.
I have never had the pleasure of working with Dragonite. Such an exquisite material. I believe I can create something absolutely marvelous if I had some. Would you be willing to part with your Dragonite? Make it worth your while.
It's got to be pretty good to get past my old boy Ignar. Ignar the dwarf, the one of the arguably the finest smiths alive. And by God, by the time I'm done with him, he's going to be inarguably the finest.
Mark of ownership. I can create a mark of ownership for you. When you cast certain spells like Soulbind, Mind Control, Animate Dead, Animate Construct, or Phylactery, your mark will appear on your target. Your mark of ownership will prevent your spell from being counterspelled or otherwise dispelled. Marked creatures cannot be mind controlled by anyone else than you.
Now, that's not bad thinking about it now. You know, I read this yesterday, but thinking about this now, that's if you're going for a sort of a lich-like army build, it's perfect to kind of just like, oh well, now we have to deal with it, and it really, this amps it up to really make you even more terrifying. You're a gigantic threat. Having that, I think, would put you on a lot of people's radars way faster. And if you were to somehow get like continent or multi-continent spanning threat without getting all the right people fucking pissed off at you, well, all the gods are going to be turning your way. Tier 2.
I have some associates who have been sealed away in various shrines at Karhas Misuchi. Would you be so kind and free them for me? Their names are Murunya, Amatsu, and Mao. Their shrines are easy to find since they are quite infamous. But their shrines are very well guarded, so do be careful.
Immaculate Bride.
Allow my mind to touch yours, and your ideal partner's appearance, personality, interests, and things you never knew you wanted will be revealed to me. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Oh. That's a lot of hair and feet. Ew. For you, I will create the Immaculate Bride. Everything about her will be flawless, from the placement of every individual strand of hair to the pitch of her voice when she laughs. To you, she will be perfection given form.
If there ever was a waifu option, that is, I mean, this guy is really kind of hitting with a lot of bangers from the get-go. Really does kind of kill any sort of harem vibe, I think, if anybody was going for that sort of thing. Because this seems to be like just the option to have. And this is actually, I think, I gotta give it to the author again. I hate it, but it's a fantastic waifu option because the downsides aren't terrible, right? So like, at worst, you're gonna be pissing off a couple people on Mizuchi, and you're gonna be letting go some pretty dangerous fellas or ladies or whoever, some dangerous spirit people who are gonna want to break you're gonna cause a lot of havoc, sure, but it's tier 2. The people who are gonna be pissed with you aren't gonna be pissed at you forever, right? It's they'll get over it. And at the same time, you get like the only person you would ever want, period. So it just seems to me like an incredible choice. However, it does also seem like you're going into a fantasy world. There's going to be a billion other people around. You're kind of, I wouldn't say wasting an opportunity having perfection, but I can't imagine like you would go for anyone else at that point. It seems pretty kind of like a one and done sort of person. And so like, yeah, which I get that, but I'm just saying like, you're not going to need, I don't know if fertility for brood would be as necessary at that point, I guess. All right, tier 3,
First, I would like you to kill the Spirit King. No big deal, just kill the king, it's fine. Once that task is completed, breaking down the veil that separates the spiritual and physical realm will be much more manageable. When we are done, everything in this world will change, including you and me. But I can guarantee you that in our change will be most desirable.
Well, I mean, at that point, you're killing a king, or the god, right? And the other guy was a spirit king. These are all gods and such. So, sounds a little difficult to me. Let's see what he's got to make it worth our while.
The Wish Stone. There
we go.
There we go. My latest creation is finally done. This was once the Soulstone prison of Balfarazar. Balfarazan. Now it is a stone capable of making one wish cost-free during a Dragonfall. Instead of paying the cost yourself, the soul of Balfarazan will be consumed. Don't wish for anything too ambitious, like as the new greater dragon will most likely not want to grant you such a wish. They might also turn hostile as you deny.
They might also turn hostile as you deny them of their cost.
As you deny them of their cost.
Now, I don't get it. Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding everything here, but the things that you get from these embers seem like I don't understand. So this is another Dragonfall. So in 1,000 years, I'm going to get a something. I'm confused. Like what is another dragon going to give me that I can't get myself? And it definitely doesn't seem appropriate for a price to kill the god of the Spirit King. That just seems way too high. Like this one is the most off out of all of them. Well, anyway, that is our last one. We only have our epilogue below, which will inform more of the potential story to come. So let's take a look-see at the build we have right now. So, what I was looking for from the get-go was, I'm gonna see if I can pull up these pictures as we go down the list to make more of what I was going for. So, I wanted to start, like I said before, on Kelgrim. Work my way down. It's the frozen north, the coldest continent, dealing with all sorts of frozen assholes. And as my species, I'm going to pick a Western Dragon. It's going to give me Wings Tier 1 and Scales Tier 2 for free. That's pretty solid, pretty sturdy defense from the get-go. I dig it. I'm not going to be a half dragon. I'm going to have my wings, going to be able to fly. Don't have to be too fast, but I've got, don't necessarily have hands, but I've got decent sort of claws up front. It's feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty solid start. Okay. Where did that page 2 go? I'm not entirely sure why. Oh. Well, that is unfortunate. Unfortunate, really. That had to be lame like that. Let's see if I can just... There we go. We'll make do. Alright. Page 2. Got right here. We've got the size. I don't want to be tiny. Don't want to be small. So I was really trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to be enormous or gargantuan. Enormous is about, let's see here. It's about the size of a large castle, right? Not quite a small mountain, but a large fucking castle. I think that image of Deathwing right there is about, I would say, the upper limits. It's I guess maybe not the upper limits. That's normal, right? Because that's a castle. I wouldn't even call that a large castle. And that dragon's roughly the same size. So I'm thinking on the upper limits of enormous. I'm kind of going for that. I'm not going for necessarily God Killer, but I want a legend. Now, in terms of colors, going for the white. Now, red and blue are all good, but white's the only one with Frost Breath. If we look through all these, I was surprised at the double check. But white's the only one, and quite frankly, I'm a big old Iceman. I like it. Call me good old Chuck, Mr. Liddell, because the Iceman cometh. That was terrible. Forgiveness Priest. Okay, so now we're going to go with Tier 3 Frost Breath. Now, this one, tier 1 chills. Tier 2 and 3, you slow them. Tier 3, you just straight up freeze them into solid ice. I love it. Very powerful. This is just straight up freeze other dragons, which, you know, since this is their most powerful attack, it seems like there's not going to be really any counter spells to this, and it's a pretty hefty fuck you. So I dig it. I don't really think I need that many of these shots, so let's keep going. So is it the last one for this page? Yes, it is. So I'm going to drop this back to page 1, and then we are going to jump on down to page 3. All right. Excusez-moi, por favor. There we go. Oh, page 3. So what do we got? Features. Here are the big features that we're going to be looking at here. So I already have scales 2, which are pretty gnarly. It's going to be as hard as Mithril. Only the strongest weapon can do it. We're just going to drop another 10 in there. Skills are going to be as hard as Dragonite. Hardly any slashing or piercing can harm you unless you're getting attacked somewhere where scales don't protect you. So, like, basically only Dragonite's going to be the thing that hurts you at best, right? You get maybe like another dragon's like tier 3 bite, which should be pretty fucking insane. Or was that bite? Did we see that here? Jaws. Your fangs are as hard as Dragonite if they weren't send tremendous amounts of force. Jaws, that would be brutal. I think that might be the only thing that could really kind of give you your scales run for your money at tier 3. They want tier 3 claws, and we'll see why. Tier 3 claws are as hard as Dragonite. There's hardly anything that your claws can't cut. Dragonite and Dragonite, I have to imagine a certain amount it's getting there. And I thought to myself, my thought process was I was going to skip the muscles, right? And if I was going to go with tier 3 scales and maybe a little bit more later, I wouldn't need the muscle because I'd be an average massive dragon with the really sharp claws and the incredibly dense thing. I wouldn't have to worry about getting hurt. But we'll see. Moving on, we're going to go with, where are you? Breath 2. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Breath 2 is up to 12 times. Now, it says usually dragons can only use their breath attacks 3 times a day. 6 is pretty special. That's a lot. So 12 is insane. And something like 50 times per day for 25 is a lot, but like that's an extra 25. That's almost too much. And I don't necessarily know if I need to be hitting that with the claws and the armor that I have, right? The breath doesn't seem... I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it that much, or if I'm going to need to even. So let's keep moving on with the other thing. The most important to me, it seems, is regeneration. So if we're going for tier 3, we're going to be spending 30 points, since you have to get each incremental point cost. As long as you're alive, your regeneration powers are strong enough to heal any injury within 1 minute. I'm piccoloing my arm out, getting it cut off, growing that fucker back. I have a gigantic, my chest cavities open somehow past all of my scales and everything that are also covering my chest. That's growing back together in a minute? Ooh! Good God. Insane. Ridiculous. Venoms, toxins, poisons, all this other stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's possible to bleed yourself in order to cleanse your body of venom. That's bananas. Now, let's keep going. Let's keep this moving and grooving since we've been over these once before. We're going to have flight tier 2. Now, it requires wings. I had them before. It'd probably be very slow. It'd give you flight, but what we're going to do here is we're going to take the flight, much faster, more agile flight. I would like you can outmaneuver and run circles around most flying creatures of your own size and any size class beyond. War machines, ballistas, catapults will still have much harder time hitting you. I'm not looking to be giant speeding bullet in the sky. What I want at a bare minimum is to be able to fly and fly relatively fast for a dragon. I want to be able to get where I'm going and to be fucking scary when they see me coming in the distance. I want them to know that they're kind of shit brick. Like, I want them to see me coming and have just like half a minute to be like, oh fuck. Just to be kind of like, the pace with which I approach only allows them to feel dread. And that's very mean, but it's kind of that's kind of speed that I'm thinking of. All right, then we're gonna do tier 1 magic. Not every dragon has mana pool or is able to cast spells. You have a mana pool with a similar capacity to a low-level spellcaster. Your grasp of magic is rather rudimentary and leaves much to be desired, as you can only cast tier 1 spells, but being able to use magic at all is a great advantage. Now, I wasn't going for a magic build, and I didn't really think I wanted it, but what I really did want was the ability to turn to a human form, because that seems like a very dragony thing to do, and that's up my alley. And thus, I need that to at least cast those spells. So, yeah, that's kind of the one I'm going for. And Bestow Immortality seems like something that I would want to have as many sort of normal humans with me that I really like, and I don't have to feel like, man, fucking Jeff, he had to grow old. That son of a bitch. It hurt. Now, brain. Big brain. Biggest brainus. Tier... yeah, I do watch The Big Bang Theory. Thank you very much. Tier 3, cost 25. Your mind goes bazinga. Your mind is expanded. Your intellect is now vastly superior to the greatest thinkers, philosophers, spellcasters, schemers, and rulers. Your mind is so complex and eldritch, it is beyond the effects of mind-altering spells like illusions, mind control, psychic attacks, emotional manipulation, and similar mind magic. Now, the only problem with this is that the personality lost in becoming such a big-brained person, and your ambition becomes so warped that you're no longer really the same person anymore. And that's why part of me would want tier 2. But at this point, the kind of thing that I want, I would like to imagine that there is a level of ego disconnect when it comes to this. Like I have who I am now, and that is like riding in the cockseat of a mecha, and everything else is like the secondary sub-ego, sub-id, sub-super-ego sort of thing that I'm feeling and comprehending, but at the end of the day, I'm still me. That would be the hope, the ideal. But if not, I guess I'm willing to take it in the same way that somebody might be willing to take Mindless Beast just to kind of go through the experience. Hopefully it wouldn't be miserable. Alright, so now we're going to go to one that's kind of unexpected, but tier 3 lungs. Now, your lung capacity is extremely vast. You are able to safely hold your breath for up to 1 hour while doing physically exhausting activities. Now, you may say this is weird. You may say this seems like a waste. I say, this planet looks like it has a lot of goddamn water, and the last thing I want to do is somehow be vulnerable to goddamn leviathans and other things when just because I couldn't breathe. It seems real fucking a real lame sort of soft belly approach to take. I just don't want it. Let's keep going. Lungs, the next one. We're going to go with fertility, the Coomer's choice. Now, apparently a lot of dragons are infertile, according to this. But with this, if I had tier 1, I'd be able to reproduce. Not the most fertile if I took tier 1. Tier 2, I'd be more fertile than most dragons. But with tier 3, I have full control over my fertility. Sex could guarantee a successful impregnation or do nothing at all. I could hold my nut. Don't pretend. By touching your children's eggs, you can mold and shape them using the Cyoa to effectively turn them into what I want. That's kind of neat. However, unlike you, your children only get 100 embers instead of 300. Almost my instant reaction to that is sad. Just be like, oh, every parent wants to see their children do better than themselves, but you can't stack up to the big man. God damn it. You're legendary, and your children will be almost solid, just right there. So we're taking tier 4 of that. And now let's move on to the legendary features. Now, if anybody has any thoughts, feelings, argumentation with what I'm saying, let me know, yell at me. I love to hear why I'm wrong, and then if I'm not wrong, I could just yell back, and then we'll just yell at each other all day, and we'll find something else to yell about, because that's what we do. We moss at each other like kobolds, just I am the pest moss collector.
Don't worry about it.
Now, we look to rare features. Now, this is what I was saying, something maybe a little higher than the tier 3 for the scales. Choose one tier 3 option which you have purchased. Your chosen tier 3 option is now tier 4 and has legendary characteristics. For example, you could use your breath 100 times a day, your scales are indestructible, or your muscles can overpower a creature of 2 size classes beyond your own size. Now, part of me always keeps thinking about the muscle thing, and when you see the gods and deal with their sort of avatars, the muscle seems to be like the way that you would go and go that angel into submission. But I really like the idea of indestructible scales and real fucking sharp claws. You're just a walking piece of armor, and it seems like just that is super. That's legendary to me, and then everything else kind of goes off of that. Now let's keep moving and grooving, but that is something to keep in mind, that like that's a fulcrum with which my build stands. Now that we got that, we're gonna go down to the old Brood Lord. All of your offspring have compulsion to obey you. Unquestionable loyalty is imprinted in their DNA. Spawn enough offspring and you can have your own completely loyal dragon army. Now, this was one that I've at times considered dropping, only because it's a lot of points and there's more drama to be had without that. But at the same time, my idea of wanting to go and sort of take tic-tac-toe and then just kind of have that as a seat of power to where you become just like an insane dragon king, that almost in, forgive me for the World of Warcraft analogy, but almost like the Lich King, in that he's up there and he's got enough more like scourge to take over the world 3 times over, but you just kind of chilling there, and that sort of like that tempered passive power that can expand at any time. I just something about that sort of the, what is it? You want to be you want to be peaceful, not defenseless, right? So the defenseless makes you a victim at any time, but if you're peaceful, you actively know how to fight back and to be aggressive if you need to defend yourself. You're not, because you're making an active choice, and that appeals to me. Now, enduring features was one that I wanted before. However, there was something here, the next one, that got me, and this has me asking a question. And this is something, if I get no other chats, nobody else saying anything, this is the one thing I want anybody to respond in a comment later or say something now. But because I want to know if this works, and this seems like it works, and I goddamn better. Choose what number X is. Y is half the number of X rounded down. You can spontaneously transform your body within a minute to mutate any breath attacks, features, rare features, which you purchased using your mutation pool of Y, your embers. You can remove any breath features and rare features which you have mutated to return the embers that you've spent to the mutation pool. Now, this is what I'm thinking. So I hear that immediately, and what I was thinking before was like, okay, rad. Anything within here that's, if I'm gonna drop 30 points in here, anything 15 or below I can use totally fine. Like if I needed increased Isla Sight, if I needed like increased senses from the other one, like I would have those passively, or something like something weird, right? But like humanoid hands would be one that I would want a lot, that I would just mutate hands from my dragon paws to do whatever with, just because like I think, what was it, Dragon's Dogma had the dragon with the sort of humanoid hands and that weird snouty nose that I hated. But that's what I love, like a Western dragon with big old thumbs. All right, I'm back. It died for a second. I'm not sure why. Something happened. It didn't like. They hate thumbs. They're trying to shut me down. They know that the word of the thumb. For humanoid hands. So this is the question, though. I know I'm getting off track a little bit. Was is that we have our old pal. I might be skipping ahead a little bit, but I kind of need to make this work. Let's find it. Let's find my old pal. Ignar. All right, Ignar is one of the dudes I want to get. He's a master smith. What he can create using metal will put other smiths to shame. Ignar might even be the greatest smith alive. He's also one of the few smiths that know how to reforge dragonite. He loves that stuff. To him, it's the only metal worth forging. All other metals bend easily, but dragonite, that's another story. The metal is tough and moves in a way that makes it seem like it has a will of its own. Forging dragonite is like beating a dragon into submission. It's a battle. While most smiths can at most make crude weapons and armor using dragonite, Ignar can make extremely well-crafted, intricate designs. Ignar wishes he had 1 dragon egg's worth of dragonite. That's enough for 10 suits of armor, it said earlier, which is rad. But so my question was that if I have enduring features and if I use my mutation, right, because I have 15 points with it. If I'm putting 30 points in, enduring features is normally any feature of a dragon that is severed from its body would lose its supernatural hardness. Your features, however, only lose 1 tier worth of hardness. They can be used to create high-quality armor and weapons. Now, I go and I mutate to have enduring features. I then do something. I don't know whether it's I take my tier 4 my scale, my indestructible scale. I carve a chunk out of myself somehow with my real fucking sharp claws. I go into the flesh in between the scales and I dig a piece out. And I've made sure I've readjusted my whatever to give that piece the little bit of Zazu, the soul, the fucking oomph to make it live past it. I give it to him to work. I then retract that mutation from I heal. Obviously, my scale would heal with my fantastic regeneration within a minute. And then I use those mutation points. I take those back. The rest of my scales lose that glow since they're no longer have the enduring features. But the ones that have been carved, they should still have it, right? Like, let me know if I'm retarded, if that doesn't sound like... I guess, how would that work? How would the enduring features work? The entire idea to me is that it's almost like a hair follicle being pulled out, one with the root and without, right? Like, you can't get the DNA without the hair follicle or whatever. Like, it's not, that's the living part. So you're giving it the scale, whatever, your nail, your tooth, your fucking claw. You're giving them that with the follicle, your soul. That's what I think anyway. That's what I would want for that. Otherwise, I'd probably have to take enduring features, but I would like to use those in conjunction with Ignar to have him go and make kick-ass shit with my body parts. That sounds weird, but it's exactly, that's what's been on my mind this whole time. Moving on. So we have Broodlair controlled autism, and then I have the only thing that I need here. Also, the controlled mutation for adaptive genitalia, pheromones, and animal speech. You know, it's not too bad. You know, you can use it if you want to be a gigantic degenerate. It's there. The option's there. Yeah, you live a long time. You never know. I've seen the wives Namor's had. I used to read comic books. He's fucked fishes, like weird octopus things. People do weird things, especially when you're a king. Resurrection egg. You can lay a resurrection egg. Once you die, your egg will hatch, and you will be reborn as a tiny baby version of yourself. It takes 1 year for you to grow 1 size class. As you continue to grow until you reach your purchase size, you can only have 1 resurrection egg at a time. This is a very rare feature. I need that one. I want that one. I don't need to be reincarnation. I don't need any of these other ones. The resurrection egg, that's my jam. If someone were to somehow kill me throughout those things, especially with my scales, you know, I wouldn't like it, but I don't think I'm gonna die anyway. I definitely think I can come back with a vengeance. Is that arrogant? Do I have dragon arrogance already? Is that a thing? I don't know. Feels like it. They'll fucking do it. Also, hive mind your offspring's not individuals, neither thing. Your entire bloodline is extension of yourself. I don't want that. The Broodlord's good enough for me. Just kids love me. I'm fine. So, so going there. Then we also have to pick the diet because I found this one to be the strangest kind of choice in this. I don't hate it. I kind of like it because it does make every dragon feel individual, but and maybe it's something I didn't think about, but I always just imagined dragons could eat fucking anything. But yeah, so meat. So I picked meat, which is feeding the meat from mammals, reptiles, and the birds, which is what the majority of dragons do. It's what people expect a dragon to do, for good reason. Mammals, reptiles, birds are abundant. From the smallest of rats to the biggest of basilisks, there's always prey to be found, no matter the dragon size. Meat's great. If I couldn't eat meat as a dragon, I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing. Sea creatures. Feeding on fish, crustaceans, and other aquatic creatures is common amongst dragons below medium size. Fish is both easy to catch and find. Some of the largest dragons feed in this category. In the depth of the ocean, there are plenty of sea creatures of varying sizes. These two seem like the obvious choices for a gigantic fuck-off dragon. Plants would be neat, but sunlight would work, blood would work, but it doesn't feel that's not what I'm going for. I just want I don't know, what would grains be under plants? Yeah, I suppose. I guess they're grains or plants. I guess I can't have bread, just straight up meat. Now drawbacks. Here we get to the old drawbacks. Now it feels really legendary. I know I've said this before in a previous video, but your body has an obvious weak spot. It could be a glowing red spot in your chest, for example. Your weak spot is vulnerable to attacks. If your weak spot is struck, it would cause you massive damage and unbearable pain. Now, with the scales, I'm thinking clearly it would be like my eyes, right? Because my eyes would be giant. I'd be fine with just be big, like everything else of my body is an armored, plated monstrosity, and then my eyes would be the place that if you blinded me, I'd just be kind of like in real life. If your eye gets scraped really bad, you just kind of like freak the fuck out. I wouldn't mind with that being my total weak spot. And then I was also thinking getting like Ignar, whatever, to make me like dragonite eye coverings, kind of like horses have or something, to where like they're just connected to my giant dragon skull, and like that would be the thing, like the only piece of gear I might otherwise need to use. But I don't know, maybe not. That kind of ruins the sort of mystique, the legend of it. But you never know. That if I didn't want my eyes to get fucked up, I mean, they'd heal in a minute, sure, but that would be what I would go for. So that's 35 points. So before, as you can see the little math I've done here, we're at negative 42 points. We get the weak spot and then whelp. Now, I love this just from a story perspective as well as it feels right to come into the earth as a fully formed dragon. Feels almost wrong. There's needs to be at least a little bit of danger. Whelp. Gain +5 for each size beyond tiny to your purchase size. Normally would gain the body of a fully grown dragon. Now you will start off as a tiny baby dragon. You will grow until you reach your purchase size. It'll take about 5 years to grow one size class bigger. Yeah, at least in the if you're reborn, you're reborn, you're getting those by a factor of 5 faster. I don't mind this. It forces you to grow and learn, and you kind of have to adapt and work on yourself. That being said, as we see later, you're gonna have your companions with you from the very beginning. So having at least one companion with you is gonna put you a head start. I will say, do we have any more of these? We do have a couple more. So I'll get into the companion bonuses that are gonna help a lot with the whelp thing soon. Telegraphed breath, and this is fine for me. It's gain +5 just before you're about to use your breath attack. you have an obvious telltale sign that signals that you're about to use it. For example, several spots along your neck could start to glow. This will make it much easier for your enemies to predict your breath attack. I love it. I like it like Godzilla. Just as his whole spine's growing, and you know, you're getting the old Goku Kamehameha. It feels more. I think you're such a massive threat that it feels like bravado. And I'm not even hiding it. I don't need to hide it. Fuck you. That's kind of where my head's at with that. Then we have Arcane Glow. Arcane Glow is parts of your body will glow with arcane energy. The intensity of the glow is directly related to how much mana you've got left. The more mana you have, the brighter the glow. Your enemies will easily be able to figure out how large your mana pool is and how much mana you've got left. I like the idea with tier 1 magic. It's almost like it's a misdirection. Right? 'Cause, I think that to the few versed in dragon lore in the world, the people who would be in the know would be like, oh, this motherfucker, what is he going to do with magic? I've seen him do some magic. Once or twice, maybe. I've heard he does some magic. I wonder. I know he can turn to a person. Yeah, well, even if I have no mana at all, I don't need it. So those are the only downsides. I'm thinking a little bit about leaking breath. I only have three uses of it since I actually I guess I would have how many uses? 12? What is it? 6? I have 6. 6 is alright. 6 isn't bad. I don't mind. 6? No, it would be 12 since I have 2, right? Is it breath? 1, 2. Bada bing, bada boom. Gotta look at my thing. Frost breath, claws, breath attack, tier 2. Okay, so it's like 12. That's a lot. That's a lot of breath. I would give up 1 for 5+ things. Maybe. Let's see, what's the next thing? So we would be at this point, we'd be at plus 28 to spend on further more things. Alright. What do we got here? Spells. Alright, here are the spells, baby. These are what we need. Your body's new, like an empty vessel. It's ready to be filled. I don't want to go too much over this already, but these spells aren't like, they don't, to cast them, I don't need any regents, incantations, hand gestures, or rituals. Simply be able to will them into existence, kind of like true magic, which is pretty great. Otherwise, this is kind of like being a wizard in D&D. You need time to prep everything. It's a lot more of a hassle. A lot of time and study, which doesn't bother me because I got the big brain. I could figure things out pretty quickly. But the ones I'm really going to want are bare minimum, humanoid form. Choose an appearance for your humanoid form. Your humanoid form must be a scaling, which I know I haven't shown it before, but I believe it would be in page 1. I'll be really quick with this. A scaling, for those not in the know, is scalings will look indistinguishable from other members of the same race as their humanoid parent. All scalings are supernaturally beautiful and alluring. Good looks make them attractive to true dragons. Effectively, you're a human, elf, dwarf, whatever. You're just a perfect facsimile of that race. I was surprised that would be tier 1 because that seems more desirable to me, and then tier 2 is either scale spawn or scale born. I mean, I guess more people want to be human and walk around and fight and stuff, but like, I'd be just like the immortal Zod, right, from Berserk. At that point, you're fighting as a normal human. If for some reason somebody pushes you to your limit, you just turn to a giant fuck off dragon. Like it really, like I don't need to be super powered as a human form. This seems to be exactly what I want. So tier 5 sounds perfect. Oh yeah, you will also have any breath attacks, features, rare features, diets, drawbacks, and spells which you've purchased that are purchasable in your humanoid form species. Come on. This is perfect. It's perfect. I have all my shit. I have my breath attacks as a human. That seems dirty, crazy even. Part of me would want heal. I mean, I don't have it here, but something to consider. The spell will grant the target of the spell Regeneration 2, which heals all disease and poisons and venom and anything. Like, and it heals shit up really quick. It's insane. For 20 minutes and cure the many non-magical diseases. Like, come on, this is for tier 1. That's perfect. But I'm not getting that right now. But bestow mortality is what I am going to get. This spell will allow you to bestow the target of this spell with eternal youth. While they won't die of old age, they can still be killed. You can't use this spell on yourself. If the caster of the spell dies, the immortality they granted will be undone. So, if you die, then you're reborn as an egg. The person you granted immortality to is losing a couple days, if not months or years. It's unfortunate, but that's them's the breaks. Now, what do we have here? In terms of magic, I don't think there was any other magics I really wanted. I've gone through them all before. For this build, now we're going backwards. Gotta go forward. Let's go. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Where are you, my dear? So many pages of things. There's something to be said about these companions. It's very important that we understand them before we go forward. Something about them. They want wishes. The very important parts of this, at least, are companions granted. What is it? Those who grant your wishes with companions will not age. Will be teleported to the location where your egg will hit the surface of Eldiria, and a new body will be formed. You don't know why, but fulfilling a wish takes no effort, which is actually great. So I guess I don't really have to do much. And will cost you your embers, but you cannot fulfill a wish without taking something in return. So I need to spend embers to get them. Companions who are on the same continent as you will cost 2 embers. Your embers less. Very good. So I've been through all of these people before. Nothing too crazy. So starting off though, Elowin is the one. Is the first one I want. It's going to cost originally 9. But it's going to turn to 7. The Frost Elves, originally elves from Andor, who fled the Sundering across the Sea of Kaldgrim. To survive the cold of the north, they made a pact with Ulfrung, an elder demon. In exchange for power over ice and snow, they would summon the demon into the physical world and name him their king. The demon was a cruel and vicious ruler, which led Elwyn, the former queen of the elves, to betray Ulfrung. The Frost Elves killed the demon and entombed him in a prison of magical ice to trap his spirit. With his dying breath, Bolfrog cursed the Frost Elves. What's the curse? I don't know. Frost Elves are almost extinct, and Elwyn would do anything to save their people. She wishes to lift Bolfrog's curse. So it's really cool that I don't actually have to do anything with that. Another thing that is great that I wanted to bring up before, especially with the whelp, is the fact that you have her, a queen, going and bringing you to an elf kingdom, presumably one that's hidden and well protected by ice magic in the north. I can't think of a better starting location than that. Perfect. A little less towards the legendary tale of building yourself up, fucking by your bootstraps or whatever, but hey, what are you gonna do? And then you have Ignar, which we've read Ignar before, but that mad lad, I want him for 6, originally 8. There's so many things you can do, but that's the man. The man on the mission, the one who I need to make all sorts of armor for myself and others. And here I have Celestine for my last 5 points, because I think she would round it out and be pretty neat with an elf, a human, and a dwarf. Celestine hails from a long line of nobility. Seated around the northern coast of Anduvia, she had 5 older brothers, but 2 of them have died defending their lands in Calgrim, or from the Calgrim invaders. Terrible. It is unusual for Anduvian noble women to be knights, but along the northern coast it is tradition. They need every able-bodied man and woman to fight off raiders. Celestine is a bit of a tomboy, as you could expect from a female knight raised by 5 brothers. She takes pride in being a knight and a part of the northern Anduvian nobility. They are the shield that protects the southern lands from the hateful northern savages. There, she wishes that her family had the resources to build massive walls around every city, village of their lands. Such walls could save so many lives every year. So I thought for her, it would be really neat to have her on the north. She comes up there, makes common cause with the other 2. She's an immortal, and she also gives me she's a noble woman, right? So she knows all the comings and goings of the politics of Andor, and would help me navigate it and be there. And that's 300 points. Those are where we're going for the dragon thing. However, that was what my original thought was. But thinking about it a bit more, I've come to a very disturbing conclusion. And that is that I don't think I want this, and this hurts because I put a lot of time into this. The truth of the matter is that this is rough. It's hard to say it, but here's some thoughts I have. So like, I also kind of wanted Frunga because she's only worth like, so instead of those 5 points for her, I could have taken Cyrilda for 2, and then Frunga for 5. Right? Frunga's whole thing is she wants to be immortal. I can grant that with my thing. I'll find her soon enough. I don't need to. The Northern Woman was fine. But I was thinking an alternative. We can do the math here real quick. I forego my 2 spells. My humanoid form spell and my bestow immortality spell. Get rid of them. Don't need them. And then my tier 2 breath attacks. I don't need them. I'll just be down to 3. Just 3 a day, which is like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are we going here? But I'll tell you why we're going here. That's gonna give us 20 embers straight up. So then what I do here is instead I'm gonna go and make a real funky pact. I could make a real funky pact. I could go with Memnoth. And Memnoth is kind of coming out of left field for me. It feels a little fun. It feels a little weird. But he's a big old magic man. Now, I didn't go into him this stream, but what he wants is this is fucked up. So if I get tier 3, so this means that other ones like the where's that bitch? Where's that chick? India, whatever, the woman supremacist, the chick who hates magic, she's gonna hate me. The whole human kingdom, the west coast that I like, is gonna hate me, but they're gonna have to suck it up. Because what he wants is
return me to my former power by conquering all of Iktakdoa,
which I wanted to do to begin with.
Reform the twisted parody of my sorcerer cult that is today known as the Dragon Cult. Do this and you shall be named Sorcerer King of the entire continent of Iktakdoa.
Which, that's fine. I was going to do that to begin with. Maybe not Sorcerer King, but it got me thinking. Here's the thing. I reread the spells, and this is fucked up. Now, the Fist of Kings, the divine artifact,
has been worn by every Sorcerer King in the long-lost empire as symbols of divine authority and legitimacy to rule. The wielder of this gauntlet is able to cast spells as if it was true magic. No rituals, no hand gestures, no incantation, regents, or anything else required, except for mana. They can simply will the spells into existence, the same as buying the spells outright like I had before. Now, all other wielders of spells are also empowered by 1 tier to a maximum of tier 3. So, check this. This was really blowing my mind a little bit, because I'm like, wait a minute, because before this stream and the other stream, I had taken a magical retardation, or whatever that was called, for the plus 30 points, because I needed it, because I thought I only had 250. So I'm like, I can't do anything with this. I'm not gonna. I'll be a physical mastermind or whatever, and I'll live that life. But is this the one? Cold body symbiotic? No, these are all the good things. Where are the bad things? Need the horrible shit. Okay, give me my horrible shit. S'il vous plaît. So if I'm not gonna be, what was it? I must have missed it. What is it? Magic Dunce was the other one. Incapable of learning spells. That's why I was like, okay, I'll just be spell 1. But, so the math here is this. If instead of that, I take, where are you? I take Magic 2. Son of a bitch. Go here. Tongues, lungs. It's like your dating ad. He's like, I want someone tongues and lungs, if you know what I mean. Magic tier 2. Your mana pool is now similar to that of mid-level spellcasters. You can cast up to tier level 2s. So I take this, and then I get the my Egyptian god card here. It brings me up to maximum tier 3. I don't need them. I do whatever, and then my mana should be relatively high. I can manage that. But like, what was one of the other spells? Where was this other fucking spell? Leyline Circlet. Here, the spell. Oh man, so many windows. 10 pages of CYOA. You best out of though. There it is.
While your body's inside the circle, you're able to cast spells without spending any mana to cast them. This spell will create a growing magical thing on the ground underneath you, the size of the spell similar to your body size. Spells will cost less mana, they regenerate. Did it say how long it would take? I thought it said a minute. Am I crazy? The majority of the spell... Whatever. Point is, doesn't matter how long it takes. I create a ley line circle. Tier 3, all of my spells... Infinite mana? I don't understand. I can do everything with the gauntlets. They're all... I get all the magic. And the only thing I get is a couple, anti-magic people who would hate me anyway, relative. Like, it seems busted. Absolutely busted. And absolutely, that's what I'm going to do. And, and I wouldn't get all these spells initially. I'd have to learn them. But the moment I learn them, I've got big brain number 4 or number 3. I'm going to learn shit exceedingly quickly. Magic is going to be no issue to me. So it just seems like the perfect sort of cost. So how much am I spending? So let's just write this down really quicksy. So the only problem here is magic people. I'm also considering trading Celestine and taking Leaking Breath for 10 to put them into... Oh, so here is the other thing. So let's hurry up and modify this. I had one more thing I wanted to bring up to people because I felt bad about this. This hurt me to say, this hurts me to do, because I don't know. I feel like I've grown to this build. I'm building something in my head, a mythology. And to give some up feels wrong. So we get rid of the breath. So at this point, I only have 3 breaths, and then I'm going to get rid of my my 2 here. It's 20, and then magical. I'm taking that. So that's only gonna be the fact that's only 10 more is ridiculous. Let's double confirm, but I'm pretty sure. Taking that to 20, and then oh magic man, where are you? Magic. Yep, 20. Oh. Hold on. Hold the phone. Give my 2 spells, so that was 5. Oh, that's not right, guy. Oh, wait, no. I'm silly. I already paid for the 10, so that's going to be 30, but I already had the 30, so we're still... I only needed an extra 20. I got all scared for nothing. I started sweating. I'm like, oh no, I misprepared. What have I done? We're all right. So here's the other thing. So we have those all going down. I had one last thing, and I don't really want to do this because I like something feels traditional and adds to the legend of being found by a human, an elf, and a dwarf. The dragon who can turn into any one of them. Like, it just feels good. The problem. Oh, so I guess I'll write down the king's name in a minute. Take tier 3. There's one more question about the other thing I have. But if I trade Celestine and I lose one of my breaths, so that means I'm going to have 2 breaths. So I'll get 10, and then that means I get muscles. Now, why would I care about muscles? I already told you why I picked... I'm already going to be a gigantic dragon. I'm going to be average sized for the dragon, but I have this irrational fear that somehow, despite my unlimited magic, despite my companions, despite my potential gigantic horde of undying, not undying, but the undyingly loyal children dragons, and then all the people I come along thing, being somehow overpowered, and like just imagine like having your arms pinned down like by other gigantic dragons, and then them gouging out your eyes and shoving things down and just killing you and like swirling your inside. Like it just seems wrong. It doesn't evoke that same legendary. What a horrible way to go. But at the cost of 1 human woman and 1 breath per day, I can go and get your musculature is impressive and beyond the majority of dragons of your size class. When it comes to brute force, you are vastly superior to the other dragons and creatures that are of the same size. So, so anything like anything barring gargantuan dragons, which I feel like I have enough magic to deal with fuckers that big. I don't really have to worry. It's more of like a bulk thing, and people, there's enough movement there, and I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about the entire world, but it's just a couple. Just being overpowered just a little bit sucks. So this, and not for nothing, but like I said, Frunda, I can find her. I'll learn immortality. That'll be the first thing I go for. She can forgive me for a couple years. I'll have tier 3 immortality. We'll be fine. That's what I'm thinking. These are the choices. This is the build. There was one other thing about it. I had a question about like how many of the other things I get. Am I getting some random Egyptian sort of oracle thing? Maybe. Who knows? But you know, we'll say bye to you, Celestine, and then we're gonna give a plus to +5 for the leaking breath. And then muscles, tier 2 muscles. My tism has been sated. And I think this is the build. Let me know what you think with that. Let's read the end bit here, and then I have a little bit more to go over. And then we're coming to the end, You have made your choices. Now there is nothing left to do but wait. Still falling. Almost there. Wait. Your fragmented memories beginning to feel distant, foggy. The vast library of knowledge you had at your disposal is slowly slipping from your mind. You must prevent it. You desperately try to grasp random strands of memories and pull them back into your mind. You know every spoken language spoken on Eldiria. More, you remember that the universes are like pools of water and there's an infinite amount of them. Deities are like humans, they live on land and can travel between these ponds. Mortals are like fish, they are bound to the pools or universes and they cannot walk on land and cannot breathe air as humans can. But there are some remarkable fish that can jump between pools of water. Planeswalkers. How do the gods interact with the humans if they cannot breathe underwater? They use divine avatars. For them, it's like sticking their hand in a pool of water. To the deities, their hands are like just 5-fingered hands. But to mortals, their hands might look like 5-headed monsters. They can interact with the fish and mortals in this state, but they can only use a fraction of their power as a divine avatar. If the divine avatar is destroyed, it's like losing a hand for them. It will weaken them greatly, but the hand will eventually grow back. Deities can also jump into a pool and make use of their full power, but they can only do so briefly, as swimming will tire them out. And what if they get too tired? They will eventually drown. Most gods refrain from this, as it is quite risky. Why is it risky? There are powerful mortals that the gods fear, sharks. You are a great dragon, a shark. You might be able to kill a god if they were fully submerged in water. But humans are clever as gods. They have harpoons and other tools and weapons like... No, memories are almost gone. The closer you get to Eldiria, the more distant your scattered memories become. Birds. Yes, there are birds too. Birds are like... You try a different memory. Dreamers, descendants of the first mages who possess the potential to... Gone. The Lightbringer is an immensely powerful entity known throughout the many worlds and... Gone. Void Maidens are former star guardians, corrupt servants of the goddess who... Gone. Shard Keepers... Gone. The near omnipotent collection of memories is now completely gone from your mind. But you still remember every memory that you drew upon. A flash of light before your eyes. It's time. You've successfully made your descent to Eldiria, and the age of the sixth great dragon. And the age of the sixth greater dragon has just begun. Okay, cool, neat. We got him. We know what we want. We know who we are. We know what we're digging with. We're dealing with. I'm very interested to know what other people want, like what they built. I do have a pseudo build review. I gotta get the dude's build here real quick. I should have taken a picture. I am the retard for not doing it, but you know what? You're gonna have to bear with me. Yes, so here is the other build that we had. Let me press that pause on that, and then I'm going to take a quick screenshot, and then I will tell you, and then let's review it together. We'll judge, see if it's good, bad. We'll all laugh or cry or congratulate him together. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, and then we're gonna have one more image because streaming is lame and there's so much. I don't blame any of you for not watching this more. I don't know, man. By watching this more, I mean like watching streaming stuff. I don't know. I'm just here for you people. Usually I get a little bit more chitter chatter, a little bit more talking. But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna spout verbal diarrhea regardless. So here we are. All right. Here was the. Ooh, okay. Here's the build. This is what I got. Egg in a drawer. Best setup is a large yellow southern dragon. Tier 1 tail, feathers, crawling, magic, lungs. Tier 2 muscles, claws, ears, wings. Flight, fire resistance, fertility. Tier 3 scales, breath, brain, eyes. Spirit, breath, fire breath, mana breath, energy breath, times 3 breaths. Regeneration, breath. Oh, that's that big old one. That's pretty good. Humanoid hands. Diet meat, plants, bugs. Drawback. Elemental weakness, acid. Arcane glow. Environmental incompatibility. Magic, dunce. I don't know what's the incompatibility. Which one did you pick? You fucked it up, egg. Spells. Humanoid form. Right on. Below immortality. Bestow immortality. Optional. Companions. Sophia, Ivan, Celebron, Deathwind. So these are all Andor places, the human peoples. I believe Delethwyn is either the elf or another thorny guy. Let's see, Pax 1 T1, Ashio, Ring for the binds, Spirit King, Elemental Mastery of energies with your breath turns you into a Death Star with long enough range. Okay, so that did make sense. Okay, so there's a lot to go through, real quick. But he does take the breath and all these other things with energy. He has a lot of breaths. Okay, so he really can go and just kind of long range fuck people off. Large yellow southern dragon. Okay, so he's not gargantuan, but he's pretty large. He's a normal sized dude. He's not going too bad. And he also said, if you can scavenge an extra 2 points, you can get explosive scales and make your knuckle scales into explosive knuckles. Depending on the strength of the explosion, the shockwave could rupture internal organs and blood vessels regardless of the enemy's skin strength. It's pretty rad. I really dug that idea. I thought, I'm wondering, I mean, that, okay, so I was thinking about the bite and if it would be smarter to take the bite, but if you do have something like the even tier 4 scales, this is why the muscles would be important, would be if that does work, I wonder how much of the impact, the force that those scales would dissipate. I'm going to imagine a lot of it, but like continual explosions, maybe some internal damage at a certain point. The more muscle you have to sort of absorb that impact beneath seems way better. Something like the herb breath in this sort of long-term thing is pretty great. I'm not entirely like things like the what is it? Tier 3 regenerations kick ass. But things like environmental weakness, acid, like that seems, and environmental incompatibility, sort of things like those that are just massive drawbacks. It seems like it hurts. It seems like it really fucks you over. The rings and the binds. Where are you? So you would be this one. So I'm just trying to give your build a fair shake here, so we can all just remember what the ring. Okay. Oh. Okay. So the ring of the binds. I remember what this is. The ring was lost during the Sundering. It is a powerful artifact that allows the wearer to share some of their powers with their closest friends. Now that I am once more connected to my sacred grove, I could retrieve this long lost artifact for you. When worn, this ring will imbue your champions with some of your dragonic powers. Your champions would gain all of your features and rare features that a scaling would be able to manifest. But that's not bad. That's not bad with all of those being able to pull that off. Give them all that sort of strength, that sort of walking lasers and all these other just random things, depending on the people you picked, which they seemed all right. I'll be honest with you. I'm less you know what, just for you, because you were so kind enough to comment, I'm gonna go through them real quick, because you know what, I appreciate the feedback because it makes me want to do more of these, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do it. Let's find these people. Who are these people? So full. All right, get out of here. Get out of here, images. All right, you're not seeing what I'm seeing, but I gotta like throw like 8 images aside. So start from the tippy top. Who are you getting? Sophia. Oh, you're taking her? This fucking chick, this priestess. She's alright. She's alright. She's not great. You're losing points already for me on these companions. Celestine, what's the thought process behind her? I'm digging it. Celestine, I get. She's pretty great. Celebron. Ooh, yes. Mwah. The prince, what is he? The fucking Achilles looking dude? Hell yeah. Perfect choice. Fantastic choice. Almost makes up for Sophil. Not really, though. Not entirely. Delethwin. Who is Delethwin? Which one is Delethwin? Delethwin. Oh, it's the elf chick. All right. Remaining Sacred Groves. She wants to be, what is it, a ranger to escape. She goes out. She was one of the few who were really connected to it. That makes sense. And you needed her for the other thing, if I recall correctly, for that other pact. So it's all coming together. It's coming together. That's why you would use her. Because otherwise, why would you? There's so many other people. I feel kind of rude saying it, but it's the truth. You need her. All right. Well, it's 10:30. I'm trying to think of if we want to do the old dangly eyes. I've gotten no feedback on if anybody wanted to do good old dangly eyes, so I have no idea. It's demon eyes. That's the CYOA. I'm not. See, I don't know if it's getting kind of late. I'm thinking I might just do another stream in the not too distant future. As of right now, unless anybody has anything else. Let's see. There's a whole lot of talking. Whole lot of. Let's see. Yeah, no. So I think that this might be it for me. I have some more writing to get done, a little drinking to do, and a little dabbling to get into. So thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, and putting up with my rambling nonsense. Thank you for letting me shill my stupid thing and shit up your board, but it's always